All right. So let's see. Mm-hmm. And I had a dream that I was the star of a Hollywood movie. This really blew my mind. Imagine me, an overfed, long haired, leaping gnome, the star of a Hollywood movie. But there I was. Yeah, I like that song. Spill the wine and take that pearl. Spill the wine, take that pearl, take that pearl. It's a lot filthier than most people know. But, you know, whatever. Okay. I'm looking for some paint. I got some crocodilian thingamajiggers here that I want to paint. Camouflage green is the color I will be using. And I painted them a lighter color so that the express paints would go into their cracks and grooves much easier. This is a croctopus, maybe, or a octagator. Anyway, yeah, it's a mutant of some sort or an alien animal of some sort. It's up to you or me. What's up, Daryl? And how are you doing, William? Yeah, that sounds like some pretty heavy stuff, Daryl. Some pretty heavy stuff. But let's go ahead and put this camo green all over this really light green. And my hope, we'll see if it follows through, is that, you know, it'll be a good wash, you know? Like some of that original Pro Krill green will show through. Wow. There we go. Yeah. So I have to say, well, as a guy who lives in Florida, I can honestly say that it does kind of look like an alligator. I mean, it's definitely got the color for an alligator. So, you know, so that's working out. That's working out pretty good. And if for no other reason, these bigger figures, they tend to be a little easier to paint, but also, what is up, Hunger? Hunger the Starvarian. Hunger. Yep. I decided to take a break from Dune and come in here and do my painting, which meant I might as well talk to whoever shows up while I'm doing it, because it actually makes the painting easier. The fact that I'm chatting with everybody. I'm not actually from Florida, but I do live in Florida. So I don't know. I guess I've been here about long enough that I could be considered a Florida man. I mean, I've done a lot of the stupid shit that Florida men do, so I've never like broken into anybody's house and shaved their cat's head or anything like that. But yeah, I've done stupid Florida shit, like run around out in the street in the middle of hurricanes and shit, things like that. Jump into ponds to capture small alligators without thinking about the fact that if there's a small alligator in that pond, what are the odds there's a big one in there too? Pretty good, I mean, that's just how nature works, right? But, you know, we have a saying, right? Florida man, we're the hero America deserves, not the one they wanted. And it's true. It's 100% true. There is no one more capable of doing stupid shit than your typical Florida redneck, especially if they're from like Ocala, Coy, any place that starts with the O word. If the name of the city they're from starts with an O, these are the guys that are going to be, having like gunfights out front of Waffle House and shit like that. Hey, Doc, links up there, Doc, or Hungar, or whoever. I mean, But originally, I am a hillbilly from Kentucky. And one day, very soon, I'm hoping to be a hillbilly from Kentucky again. See, Florida has an issue, and I can tell you what that issue is, right? If you live in Florida and you don't have a job, it's because you choose not to have a job. Anyone who disagrees with that, they're lying to you. Kentucky, when I was young, they had a problem. If you wanted a job, it was going to be, if you're lucky, fast food or coal mine. And that was basically it. And this is, before they started paying coal miners like $50 an hour and shit like that. Now I would I'd jump right on that shit now. People make great money coal mining, but back in the 80s, man, late 80s and 90s, there was still a lot of issue. So I did what every white trash Appalachian boy does when they get of age, and that is I joined the army. Around 30 acres. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, half of it is like on a 45-degree incline at least. And there is a part of it where it's just a straight vertical cliff right down to a river. So, I mean, which is good because you can stand on top of the cliff and look down at the river and it's beautiful. It's like, damn, that's nice. But, of the 30 acres, there's probably enough room on all 30 acres for maybe 3 houses. And that's probably being a little bit optimistic about the building. You know what I mean? And some of it is all mine. That's what Hungar says. Some of it is all his. Well, my mom did say to give some of it to him because it's all in my name, but of course, Hungar would be able to have his own place up there. Above the flood zone, you ask? In Kentucky? Yeah, we're like 2,000 feet above sea level where I am. I mean, literally, when I tell you that we live on the side of a mountain, I'm not joking. It's like you got to wind your way up. Like there's no road straight up because I don't think they make a vehicle that could do it. And so you wind your way up around all these hills, and eventually you'll get to the top of the the mountain, and there's like a big antenna up there. I don't know if it's for phone lines or what in the hell it's for, but and we're on that track almost to, like, if I walk uphill from where my mom's place is, I walk up that hill, and I posted pictures of all the giant rocks and stuff and me walking up that hill. If I get to the top of that hill, we got a place up there called the farming place or the garden spot because it's flat. And back in my grandparents' days, that's where they did the gardening, right? You could put a house up there, it would be beautiful, but the problem is you couldn't get up there. You'd have to actually build a road somehow to get up there. Yes. Yeah. And there's a coal mine on our property, but it's been boarded up since like the 40s. So I don't go near it too much because I'm superstitious and shit. And I don't know what could be living in that thing. You know what I mean? Already got a gun range. Yeah, we already got a good area where there's plenty of room, and it's right against the mountainside, so we don't have to worry about, accidentally. Well, our nearest neighbor is, I don't know, an acre away at least. At least maybe more. Now there is that one part down at the very end where Antioch Road crosses over. We own everything behind that, and you might be able to get a road back through there. But yeah, the problem with my property is it was originally my grandmother and my great grandmother, etc's property, and the main issue with putting a house there is, in fact, that there's not much flat land, and what flat land there is not easily accessible. So Hungar, we've already my pops has already been like bulldozing out an area near his house where Hungar can have a house too. You know what I mean? Whenever he's ready to move up there and do whatever he's going to do. So this is what these guys ended up. For those of you who saw them originally, this is where we ended up, and that looks pretty much like an alligator. I'll have to do his mouth some wild color, but that is just about the right color for an alligator. And we'll see what game it ends up getting used in, whether it's a crazy monster from a D&D game or a crazy monster from a Gamma World game or a crazy alien from a Traveler game. I mean,
Hello, good sir.
hello, good sir. How are you on this fine day?
I'm doing okay. Getting ready for my next game today.
Nice. Nice.
Hopefully.
I got a game coming up later, so I decided to take a break, do some painting, and then I'll vacuum the floors, mop the floors, clean all the toilets and everything so that the house can be perfectly ready for guests. Hello, Satya. How you doing?
Yeah, I've only heard back from 2 of my 5 players, so if they are watching, let me know what's going on.
Right. Yeah. That's what's going on. Is they're building like a flat area near to their place,
There.
so that Hungar can move in there in case he has health issues, and then he can be right there next to them. Um, so it'll be good. I mean, I'll tell you guys, there's a lot of wonderful things about living in Florida. Like living where I live in Florida, Orlando is like living in New York. If you've ever been to New York City, but not quite that way, but it's kind of like that way. It's like things are open late. You can get literally any kind of food in the world: Ethiopian, vegan, freaking Thai, Cambodian, Vietnamese. We like actually in Orlando off of State Road 50, we have Little Vietnam, and it is an enclave of just Vietnamese people who had fled Vietnam back when we did our pullout, right? And so that's neat. You can go to Little Vietnam and go into all the Vietnamese like grocery stores and jewelry stores and whatever. And I mean, so there's a lot of really exotic stuff here. When I moved to Kentucky, the most exotic thing up there is like when Chick-fil-A every now and then does like the banana pudding uh milkshake like once in a while, and that's about it. And it'll
High
be back
excitement.
to cornbread and soup beans. Yeah, you can get Ethiopian food in Orlando. Yeah, you're right. It's like there's more Ethiopian restaurants in Orlando than Ethiopians. But in Maitland, which is attached to Orlando, they have an Ethiopian church. So there's got to be some Ethiopian somewhere because they got a big ass Ethiopian church. It's right next door to a Serbian Orthodox church. So
Ethiopians.
yeah, what my great grandmother did on her house a long time ago, and what a lot of people up there do is they actually build pillars. Like they put footers into the ground and build pillars, and then the house is built on top of these pillars. So like the front of the house you can walk in from the ground, but when you walk out the back door there could be like a 30 or 40-foot drop straight down because the house is built like that, you know what I mean? And some people, might turn that into like a root cellar or garage or something, but it's like my grandma Hall's house down by Rock Creek. When you walked out her back door, it was like 100-foot drop right down to the creek. But you pulled up to her house and parked the car and got out, and it was like any other house. You walked up the steps. Hey to your grandma. She's sitting there playing banjo or something because she loved to play banjo. And you hang out and shit. But her back porch was like, but then there was a winding trail down to Rock Creek, and we'd go down there and go fishing a lot of times. Waiting for the High Point HP 15. It's a High Point, so I don't know. Zero gun range. We got a signal zero near where I live, but it's a gun store, and apparently it's owned by a retired cop. And apparently, signal zero actually means something in cop language, but I'm not sure what. Garbage gun. So my crocodiles are looking pretty good and drying pretty good. I don't, other than I'm going to have to paint the eyes, and I don't know, I'll probably paint them something like really crazy because they're mutants. So maybe I'll go with something like a really vibrant green, like say that.
So I have a question for you guys and the audience.
Hmm?
So now that WotC is licensing D&D hardcore, Hasbro, and they've pretty much let go of all of the WotC people at this point. Like, there's not enough people there to plan a birthday party at WotC anymore. You know, if they're not working on Magic, they're not doing shit. How long do you think it's going to be before they put the RPG license up for purchase, not purchase, but like licensing, and some other company's going to come in and make Dungeons and Dragons the role playing game?
I suspect it's already up, just nobody's bitten yet.
Oh, I guarantee you, if it was up, someone would have bitten. I could have seen Troll Lord biting. I could have seen Games Workshop biting. I could see Renegade Studio biting. I could even see Chaosium biting. You know, the guys that have the actual money to do something like this.
Yeah, it really depends on how much they're asking.
That would be a big question,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, a lot of the littler game companies, like Troll Lords, unfortunately, could be priced right out.
Yeah, but I'm guarantee you that Troll Lord, I'm pretty sure, could take their business plan, their success, go to their bank, whoever their bank that they deal with is, and be able to get the line of credit they need to pull it off if they really needed to, if they wanted it. But there are bigger companies out there who would jump on it and would want that license. So I'm wondering how long it's going to be before we're going to see a licensed edition of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, but I mean, how much are they asking compared to how damaged people think the IP is at this point?
Well, that's why any smart business guy knows that if they're picking up that IP as a license, and they don't have to use the 5th edition system, they can do a new edition of their own, the licensed edition. There's enough companies that know that they're going to be seen as if they do it right, they're going to be the saviors of D&D, and that's going to just be bank, right? So I don't know. Yeah, Elon. There you go. Elon loves D&D. A lot of these rich guys love D&D, right? Because they were nerds when they were kids. So I don't know. I think it's something to look at, something you could see happening for sure.
I could definitely see it happening. Like 100%. I mean, it just means Wizards of the Coast is becoming Games Workshop.
Meaning?
Well, Games Workshop no longer gives a shit about the game or the miniatures, even really.
Yeah.
They just care about licensing out the IP.
Yeah.
And you've got MOBAs and video games and maybe a series on Netflix. God only knows. I mean, you know, and yeah, you know, because I mean, I don't know business very well, but I bet you that Games Workshop is making more money on the rental of their IP than they are on selling 40K.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know,
it's a relatively small hobby when you get down to it. There's not all that many people in it.
What's crazy is it's like the gorilla in the room, though.
Yeah, it's worth millions.
Like
the D&D license is worth millions. The Game Shop, the 40K license is worth millions. You know.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is.
If you go to any miniatures convention, you might see somebody playing Napoleonics or Johnny Reb or Bolt Action. You will see a shit ton of 40K. That's a guarantee. I mean,
yeah.
But love Warhammer, hate GW. That's like everybody. And it happened back in the 2000s when they actually went public and started selling stock. And then they went from a group of hobbyists like I forget his name, Jervis and all those guys that were just making a mockery, a satirical kind of weird, kind of almost like you know, Duke Nukem meets frickin' Judge Dredd kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then once it become a business and you had investors to answer to and shit like that, the whole feel of the game changed.
Well, once you have to take on the burden of fiscal responsibility, which means you have to make money, you know, every fucking quarter.
And that's when you notice they had quarterly releases, and they would release some ultra expensive set of models that was completely OP as shit.
Yep.
And, you know, the whales that wanted to win the tournaments would pay, you know, the hundreds and hundreds of dollars for like blood crushers or whatever, you know, the hotness was at that time.
Yep.
No, Bloodhammer has amazing lore, in my opinion. I love the actual kind of lore, except for what lately they've been trying to change. They're trying to back away from the Emperor being like a deity, and because I mean, you know, I guess atheists are mad or something. I mean, ultimately, it's pretty blasphemous what they were coming up with, because the assumption was that the Emperor was the second coming. And like everyone good went where they went, and you know, but anyway, all
I
of
mean, the
that
entire idea of
notwithstanding,
trying to PC Warhammer is just an
yeah,
absurdity right
yeah.
out of the gate. It's that the whole thing is, you know, they're basically crazy space Nazis, and they're more or less the good guys. If you
Well,
can
I
call
wouldn't say
anyone that.
that they're space Yahtzees, because they accept all humans, any human, no matter what color your skin is,
Yeah, but that's only
ethnicity.
because they have aliens to hate and murder.
Pretty much. I mean, but you think about it, you've got the Great Khan and his units, and they're all basically Mongols. You've got black dudes, you've got all kinds, even some mutants like Ogrins and Ratlings and stuff like that are allowed to fight for the Imperium. But yeah, they do hate freaking everything else. But to be sure, everything else hates them. So, you know, it's not like the Imperium woke up and was like, let's go bully some orcs today. Nah, that's not how that shit goes. Orcs just randomly show up on some rock and decide to invade. And because of the way the how their body works, once orcs land on your planet, you basically, unless you take flamers and burn every single area they ever were, you're going to get orcs.
Do you want orcs? Because that's how you get orcs.
That's how you get orcs, right? I was thinking that exact thing. It's like, if you want orcs, that's how you get orcs. They land, you kill them, they drop bunches of spores all over the place everywhere they go, and then you got orcs forever and ever and ever until the end of time. But yeah, anyway, I mean, not to bore Bear too much, but yes.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
GW has great lore, but the company is killing their own game. And a lot of people, I'm not the only one who says such. And then when I mean, it probably didn't cost them much when they blew up the old world, just so they could rename all the factions so that, you know, other companies couldn't make high elves or something, which they can, but they're not Eldari or whatever. To me, that was like a huge betrayal, because I had a number of old world armies, Warhammer Fantasy armies, you know, from back in the day, and I loved them. And me and my buddy Brian used to play that game a lot, and he whipped my ass almost every single time, but we still played, because I never could win with my dark elves versus his vampire counts. It's just like, you know, mobs of freaking zombies everywhere. Get the fuck out of here with all that. But anyway, the point is that there was a lot of people playing that game, and just out of the blue they destroyed it and tried to replace it with the Sigmar game, except the Sigmar game sucks. It sucks balls.
What is the deal with that? Is it the old Warhammer Fantasy World just in a time advance, or is it did they completely scrap it?
No, they destroyed the old world. It is gone. And the Sigmar game is just 40K, except with fantasy figures. Complete with Space Marines, the Storm Guard or whatever, the human Storm Touched or whatever. They're just golden armored Space Marines. And they appear on the battlefield when lightning strikes. And they're the personal servants of Sigmar. But basically, the whole world was torn apart and it's just floating in space. And occasionally, different parts of the asteroids touch, at which point they have wars there. Because each chunk of an asteroid is ruled over by, lizard men or rats or whatever. It's
Okay.
to me, it is the worst. I mean, somebody out there might think that is absolutely the most awesome thing, but to me, that is absolutely the worst. They did away with, the Holy Roman Empire versus Chaos, which were the Northmen, versus Orcs, which were the Mongols, basically, and the Chaos Dwarves, one of my favorite armies. They just vanished. They don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, the only experience I ever had with the old Warhammer, do you remember I forget what the series called, but it was some video games with the Grudge Bringers, the mercenary company, and you'd go around and it was almost Total War like, where you had the units. You had
And if you made enough money, you got to hire more guys. And
yeah, I really like those games. Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and that game come out back when Games Workshop was super protective of its IP.
Yeah, that was like PlayStation 1, I think I played those.
Yeah, there was a time when they were not giving their IP out to anybody. They're like, get effed, You'd be like, hey, let's say you were a young starting company like Blizzard, and you'd go into GW and be like, hey, we got this idea for a great game, and we'd like to use your IP. And Games Workshop would look at the great game and be like, no. And then so the people at Blizzard were like, well, what do we do now? And some genius said, how about instead of calling it Warhammer, we call it Warcraft, and we just change some stuff around a little bit. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And they did that, and they blew Games Workshop right out of the water. But a lot of people don't know that, yes, Warcraft started out as some guys wanting to make a Warhammer RTS, and Games Workshop being so stupid they wouldn't let them.
I remember playing those. I played the first two of those. Those were fun, Warcraft.
Oh yeah, man!
Before it got completely ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the Warcraft RTSs were awesome, man. Like one
Stop
of my favorite games. Yeah, exactly. Just poking them and hearing them talk shit. That was such a good touch, That's how you know that at least at that time, Blizzard was ran by gamers who were making games for gamers, because the attention to detail and, all that stuff. And then if it wasn't for Warcraft, then you wouldn't have League of Legends, which was basically just somebody spun off Warcraft. They made Dota and then League of Legends, and League of Legends ended up being the big one. Yeah, the new old world is garbage. And in the new old world game, they already said they're not going to be supporting my beautiful dark elves. So why would I want to mess with that? I can play Oathmark and use all of my dark elves, no problem. Right? like the dark elves on cold ones, that's just my heavy infantry, elvish heavy infantry, you know. And my dark riders, that's just my elvish mounted archers. So, like every single thing, pretty much in my dark elf army, I can find in the elven army for Oathmark. And Oathmark is a better game anyway. So, there you go. There you go. Even though right now my Oathmark army that I normally use is a human kingdom, and it's very, very small because pretty much every single unit in the kingdom is mounted. So I've got like a unit of like late Byzantine cataphracti. Then I got a couple of just cavalry, and then I've got a shit ton of mounted archers. So, you know, I'm just running around shooting people.
Yeah, I've always preferred humans in games. In fact, I'm very glad that in the game I'm running right now, it's all humans. Non-humans are usually more of a pain in the ass than anything else because so few players like play them as anything but people. I'd be very selective about letting somebody play a non-human. I'd have to like see them play for a while before I decided they could hack it if I was going to use them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of games that would be right up your alley if you just want humans.
Yeah, I mean, like D&D, it's kind of like, you know, everybody's kind of it's thing where everybody's like that. Always bothered me that like every race is everywhere in D&D kind of thing. I never really liked that. It was kind of like it's kind of not how stuff would happen, especially with creatures
Well,
that
I mean,
different
it's
from each
if
other.
everyone's special, then no one's really special, you know?
I can tell you this: if you've ever read the Gazetteer for Greyhawk, you will notice in many, many, many of the kingdoms, they break down demographics, and almost every time it's 90+% human.
Yeah,
And
they
then
should be
there'll be
rare.
like, you know, a smattering of dwarves or something that might live in that kingdom. Now, there is the Fey realm of Selene, and that's like 90% elf. And in the current timeline, they're not letting any non-Fey into their kingdom. So they're being jerks.
Well, elves are dicks.
Yeah, the only people they let in their kingdom are elves and gnomes. That's it. Well, and all the Fey creatures, but those are monsters usually. So pixies.
Well, that's yeah. But I mean, listen, I don't want my D&D to look like the fucking Moss Eisley Cantina. You know, that's just the way it is for me.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate modern D&D settings because of that, because they have this mentality. That's why Daggerheart can go fuck itself with its 18 races. You know, it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, just fuck off. Make humans interesting. Make the classes interesting. And leave it at that. Hence, years I stood against it. Years I railed against it. And now I'm a huge proponent of race as class.
Yeah, I like that too, or at least separate classes for them.
Yeah, or like I do in, like I'm doing in Valorous, I make subclasses only for those races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
that's
ridiculous.
what Macris did.
Well, I'm one step away with Valorous from throwing out the 5th edition rules and using my BX revised rules and fixing those finally, because I'm just tired, and ultimately not 5th edition, but just I don't like the anything goes D&D mentality anymore. I thought it was a fucking revelation, you know, in 2nd edition and 3rd edition, but now years down the road, I'm like, no, I'm at that age where restriction makes things better. Limitation forces creativity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what destroyed poetry when everything went free verse. That's when it died out.
Well, I don't know about poetry, but I know that modern art destroyed actual art. I mean, when some idiot can just splatter paint on a canvas and sell it for millions of dollars, yeah, you're done.
Well, modern art is totally the fault. It's like just this projection of the collector crowd, the wealthy collector crowd. It's just they've invented this ridiculous convoluted language, basically to shelter it off from
Have
everyone
you
else.
ever watched a fashion show?
No.
90% of them, if not 99% of them, are modeling clothes no one would ever wear. It's just mobile art made of whatever they're making it of, put on human, to parade around. It's absolutely fucking absurd, right?
Right.
And yes, you're right. It's the boomers. This is all boomer bullshit. This is the boomers who made this big. This is the boomers who created this entire fucking thing because they had money to spend and nothing to spend it on because there was only so many Rembrandts to go around.
Yeah,
And it's
Daryl,
largely
the
a
game
money laundering scheme.
you're
with modern
describing that you want to play is probably OSC or Adventure Conqueror Kings. Or maybe
Or
even
eventually
Castle
Valorous.
Crusades.
Or eventually Valorous.
Or eventually Valorous.
Yeah.
That's what that looks like because you can definitely control how many races are in the game, and the magic is pretty limited, and so you can have what you want, race as class or not.
Now here's the secret.
Adventure Conqueror King, I mean, that's just a really good game.
I just want to see, I think this would be the major stumbling block, but I think I could pull it off, is if I could do a unified experience table for all classes.
Well, I mean, why couldn't you? I mean, 3rd edition did.
No, but that's the problem. 3rd edition, all classes are equal. BX, they're not, right? Wizards progress much slower than fighters. Thieves progress much faster than everybody else. That's the mentality, right? So you end up with these multi-level parties. So the question becomes, do I do that or do I just fucking, I don't know. I don't know. Because one of the things I wanted to do in Valorous was get rid of the idea of experience tables.
It's like some classes will level from 1 to 2 really quick, but then 4 to 5 will be like, oh my God, will I ever reach 5th level?
I mean, you just got to balance the classes so that they have relative parity.
Yeah, that's a lot easier said than done.
Definitely.
You know what I think? Don't balance shit.
Yeah, but then you have the problem of the magic users outpace everyone. By the time you're 3rd level, everybody's 3rd level, and the magic user's doing crazy shit, and the fighter can stab people.
I've always never minded playing a fighter doing the stabbing. That's just me, though. Never wanted to play a mage. Never did. Well, no, I think in one game where my buddy Brian was running and he said we all had to be evil. I played a mage that eventually learned Raise Undead and just started, running amok with that.
Yeah.
He was the one that was running the one game, and this dude, how he created the campaign setting is he took his hand and put it on a hex paper and traced his hand, and that was the continent we were on. And he made a rule where no one on the continent could be named James. Because he knew that I always would make a fighter and name it James the something. So I ended up making a character named Seamus, and he didn't know that Seamus was just Irish for James. And then I created my own religion, which was I worship Nordic, the god of the frosty north. And the whole time we played the game, when I would go to do something heroic, I would always swear by some anatomical part of Nordic. So I'd go in for an attack and I'd be like, by Nordic's frosty balls, or by Nordic's nose, or I was constantly, by the beard of Nordic, you shall die, and all this shit. And later he found out Seamus was James, though, and he's like, you're a dick. And I was like, you're the one that tried to make me not be able to name my character who I wanted to. And he's like, I just wanted you to explore something other than a human fighter named James. And I'm like, but I didn't want to. Explore other classes. No, screw that. It's like, James, the fighter. James of the Sheldamar Valley. James of Neodra. James of frickin' Lachlan. Wherever the hell I'm from.
These
You
are
know, that's
completely
who
different
I am.
Jameses.
My name is James. I was a soldier in the army of the Principality of Ulick for during my young years, and after doing my service, I decided to hit the road and just see what's up. And here I am. I mean, why not? I mean, that's the backstory. I served in the military and now I'm out here doing shit. Because we do be doing shit. You know, every adventurer's got to be crazy. Because like no normal human being would see an orc cave and be like, yeah, let's go in there.
Yeah, it's not normal behavior.
Or like, you know, this is the evil tomb of an ancient lich that designed his lair specifically to kill people. And the group looks at each other and is like, let's go in, see what's going on in there. It's like, no. Like any sane human being would take one look at that shit and be like, I am going home to plant turnips. You know, I'll use, like, I made my character and I rolled pretty good for starting money. So instead of buying any equipment or armor, I'm going to buy some land and some farming utensils. And then maybe an axe so I can build myself a shelter and eventually over time work up to a house. And I'm just going to spend all of my days, you know, tilling the fields, planting turnip seeds and cabbages. And, you know, that's the perfectly sane, normal human reaction to the whole thing. You know what I mean? Now, Gamma World's a little different because you're on a world that's basically been wrecked by nuclear, biochemical weapons. And it's like you're
just kind of in it, whether you want to.
Yeah,
be or
you're
not.
just kind of in it, trying to like not die. You know, it's more of a survival game than, you know. But I mean, if I roll up a fighter and I roll pretty good for starting gold pieces, I can just go rent an apartment in Greyhawk City and maybe get a job as a bouncer at a local tavern or something, you know. And people are like, that's all you're going to do? And be like, yeah, I found my place in the world, you know. I'm going to bounce drunks out of the tavern and live in this apartment and eat meat pies. I mean, it sounds like a great life to me. Catacombs, you can say that shit, right? I wonder who's going to run or play in a mega dungeon sometime soon.
Dungeons.
There's been quite a few people playing through Borrow Maze that I've talked to on channel.
Yeah, I'm actually running a dungeon today for the first time in, well, forever, because I stopped playing for so long. But I never ran dungeons for a long time. But I came across a situation where one felt appropriate. So I'm going to have fun with that.
need to remake the video, not as a live stream, but an actual video where I describe in detail how everything is a dungeon.
In the broad sense.
Yeah. Because the whole point of a dungeon and why players and DMs love dungeons is the limited amount of choices. The player can either go left or right. They can open the door or not. You know, it's very binary. And then you can do forests in the same way by having forest paths they can follow. And saying the forest is so thick with undergrowth, getting off the path would be a major pain in the ass.
Oh, you mean so like an actual real fucking forest?
Right. which I
Like,
was in
people
a
tend to
year
forget
ago.
that about real forests. Real forests are not maintained by landscapers who go out and clear things. They just wind up with a lot of detritus and a lot of fucking moss and like things you step on that look solid, and suddenly you're 15 feet down in a fucking gully covered by dead branches, dead trees, maybe dead gophers, you know? Like, fucking forests are a nightmare when you get off the paths.
They are.
You've gone hunting. You know what it's like being up in the fucking mountains. You know, I've done it.
Yeah,
It's
I
fucking
took the
insane.
pictures, man. It changed my mind. I was like, Gary Gygax said, walking through hilly forests, you would get lost on like a 2 in 6 chance. I think it should be 3 in 6
I think it's just like,
because it's
if
nightmarish.
you don't have a
Once you
ranger
get
or
into
someone
it,
with a woodsman-y type skill, you're
Yeah,
fucked
you're
if
effed.
you go into the forest.
yeah, you're going to get in the bottom of a holler somewhere and never get out.
Mhm. There's a
I
reason why
mean,
people
yeah.
go missing every year in national parks. And unlike David Paulides' theories, it's not UFOs or dimensional portals. It's just humans in the wilderness.
Oh, okay. I saw
Well,
somebody
what's wrong?
saying they're saying prayers for freaking Bruce.
And
I'm
the
like,
occasional
what's wrong with
grizzly
Bruce?
encounter.
What's wrong with
Hey, how you
Bruce?
doing?
Why does
he
Bruce need
wants to
prayers?
get out of his apartment. I don't blame him. When you're like 20 something and you've got 2 roommates and you're living in a 3-bedroom apartment in some kind of apartment
Yeah.
complex, it's kind of cool because you end up getting invited to parties and meeting people and whatever. But once you get past that age, you're kind of like, you know.
Well, like I said, the other day, Friday, I was driving around with my buddy through this neighborhood, and we fucking see all these beautiful little bungalows, these little houses, maybe 1, 2 bedroom, maybe 3-bedroom houses, little tiny basements, you know, not big. And to know that they're going for $500,000 to $700,000 now just breaks my fucking heart. You know, when 10 years ago they were $180,000.
Montreal might have higher freaking real estate prices than New York.
Canadian real estate prices are out of fucking control. We've talked about this.
Yeah,
I know.
I watched. I think Barry. I think you sent me the video. I was watching a thing about real estate in Canada. They were
It's
like,
insane.
there are slum housing that like it's equivalent to
Yeah,
like
it's
Bel Air.
Yeah,
or whatever.
there's these fucking Vancouver, man. You see these ads. You know, the place is dilapidated. It's half caved in on itself. 1.5 million. You know, it's a fixer-upper.
Yeah. I mean, you literally could get an apartment in Queens for like way cheaper than that. And I'm talking like not a bad apartment. I mean, it's Queens, but still. But I'm not talking Jamaica. I'm talking, you know, across the street. So, I mean, $1.5 million, that's what you pay for a relatively nice small house on Long Island.
Yeah, no, they were showing that. There was a guy that did a whole thing. He basically was comparing housing prices in similar sized or economic cities in Canada to the US. And for everything you could buy in Canada, he would show the US version, and it was like some like 5-bedroom fucking house with a pool. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Canadian, it was like a 3-bedroom bungalow. You know?
If you want to move into a rural area like in Kentucky and Ohio, sometimes the Amish will sell their houses because maybe they move or whatever. Now, granted, they don't have electricity, but they're Amish made, which means quality. They're big as hell, and they sell for like nothing, you know, compared.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get
how
this.
much is it going to cost you to wire it and plumb it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you know how to freaking glue PVC pipe together, that's not an issue.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how to install a toilet, dude.
Exactly. So it's
I don't
not
know how to install fucking plumbing. You know, like I'm going to need to pay someone money to do that, and that's not going to be cheap.
the only person you're going to have to pay in Kentucky is you're going to have to pay somebody to dig a septic tank and another person to inspect it because they're really hardcore about septic tanks up there. But outside of that, you can basically do whatever you want to your house. As long as the septic tank is good.
Anyway, the point being is that Canada sucks.
Yeah, my point being that, yeah, Canada sucks because there's no reason for all that mess. It's like, I don't know. Of course, you could end up living in freaking Toronto or wherever John LaJoy is from in one of those freaking
Montreal. John LaJoy's from Montreal.
Yeah, the commie blocks he lives in when he's doing his videos.
Yeah, those are Montreal. We had tons of those here.
Oh, man.
But now they tear them down. They put up condos, you know?
Well, like you said, because money.
Oh, yeah, it's all money. Listen, we used to live in Montreal and say, you know what? At least the rent's cheaper. And it was. It was usually you paid half of what you paid in any other major Canadian city to live in Montreal. It was a really great thing. All apartments in Montreal are rated on a number and a half system. Okay, so like 3.5, 2.5, 4.5, 5.5. So what I have 4.5. I've got 2 rooms, a living room, a kitchen, bathroom. So the half is usually your bathroom, right? That's the idea. So I've got, a 4.5, which is nice. 10 years ago, this place would have cost me $450 a month. Now it's $1,450, and I got a good deal. I was looking at prices for 1 bedrooms, 3.5s in Montreal. Holy fuck, they're like averaging $1,500 a month now. Well, why am I paying almost the same prices as Toronto and Vancouver? Not exactly the same prices, but close enough, with none of the benefits of living in major economic centers like they are compared to Montreal, which is a dying economic center. It makes no fucking sense.
It makes no sense that there's places in Canada where the rent is higher than it is in freaking New York City. I mean, because when you think about a place with a high rent, the first thing that comes to mind for me is New York City.
New York City?
Not known for their salsa, but definitely for the high rent.
And getting pushed in front of trains.
And people pushing people in front of trains and buses, or lighting them on fire and having sex with their dead body, whatever.
I will never set foot in that city again. I lived there for years. It was a fun place back in like the late 80s or early 90s. I wouldn't go back there with a gun to my head now.
It's something. It's definitely a place you can go.
It is a place that exists, yes.
But, I mean, you got to understand the game. The game is you get into, like, money management. You live in an apartment in New York your whole life. Then you sell the apartment and get, like, $1 quadrillion, and you buy a really nice bungalow in, like, Miami Beach. And that's pretty much every Jewish person in Queens, like, long-term goal. Make as much money as you can in New York, sell out whatever you got to make, because the property prices up there are crazy compared to down here. Then move down here, buy some little nice place in Miami Beach, and complain about the humidity all day, and live on your pension. That I guarantee you. I mean, I know for a fact. I know these people personally. I'm related to some of them. You know what I mean? And it's just like I have no doubt that my Uncle Herbie, when he retires from his job, he will sell his house in Long Island and end up somewhere in Coral Gables or Miami Beach.
Miami ain't cheap either these days. That's another sad thing. Florida used to be. When I first lived down here in my 20s, it was so cheap.
Yeah, but then we got a population boom.
Yeah.
What's a Jewish American princess's favorite wine?
I don't know.
I want to go to Miami. I would have said Jap, but given this crowd, they might have thought I was talking about Japanese people. So I thought it best to qualify.
Yeah. It was like Spaceballs when she's a Jewish.
She's a Jewish princess.
Funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
She had a nose.
Have your original nose.
Yeah. I'll tell you, somebody that backfired on was the girl that was
Jennifer Grey.
Dirty Dancing.
Yep, Jennifer Grey went and got a bunch of plastic surgery done after Dirty Dancing, and they fucking ruined her face. Same thing for Renee Zellweger, that she went and got a bunch of plastic surgery done. They ruined their fucking... This is what happens when you live in the microcosm that is fucking LA, right? Which is all these people fucking telling you that you need to look a certain way, and they're getting constant pressure. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've worked in the film industry for a better part of 2 decades. I worked in it. Actors are not the most secure people you'll ever meet. You know what I mean? They're pretty fucking insecure. So when they have everybody around them telling them the same thing, they start to believe that shit, and then they fall for it. And that's why you see those fucking plastic surgery nightmares walking around their 50s now that look like fucking, half-starved Caitians from Star Trek, or fucking Aslan from fucking, Traveler.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy that said he'd like
Mickey Rourke. Look at Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, that guy don't even look human anymore.
You're not even human anymore, are you?
I was working on I used to work for this place that rented out the VTR equipment for commercial shoots in New York.
Yeah.
And Morgan Fairchild was on one of the sets one day. And when I first saw her, I thought, wow, they have a mannequin of Morgan Fairchild. And then it fucking moved. And this was in the mid 90s. I can't imagine what she looks like now.
Who cares?
It's like just age. It's okay.
Like, her face was like all right angles.
It's when you see like
when
you see like Helen Mirren, and you go, oh, that's what just aging looks like. And she's a fine, good-looking woman still at her age. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's still a handsome
go
lady.
ahead and age. Nobody cares. I mean, especially if you're a movie star and you were in a bunch of movies when you're in your 20s, just age gracefully, hang out with grandchildren or whatever, and stop worrying about it. But like, look at what's his name? Bezos' wife now.
Oh my God. I saw a comparison picture of her the other day from when he first started dating her to what she looks like now. And it's like, I get why he started dating her. I don't get why he married her.
Apparently, the rumor mill was that he was pretty pissed off that she got surgery before their wedding.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, she looks like a gelfling from like the dark. It's like, but what's crazy is they all end up looking that way.
Yeah, well, they all wind up looking like lion people. Like, it's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Except for Whoopi Goldberg. She looks like the lady that had all the shards of the crystals. And like Jen had to figure it out. But yeah, I don't get it. Mickey Rourke, I definitely don't get, because young, not surgery Mickey Rourke was a handsome man. He could definitely be the lead. And pretty much
disappeared for a very long time, then came back. What was the deal with him? Was he just like that much of a pain in the ass that he didn't work forever?
No one liked working with him.
Yeah, I don't.
So I'd always heard he was difficult.
Like, if I had a job where my job was to pretend all day, I would probably show up to work grinning. You know what I mean? I'd be nice to everyone on set, especially if I knew I was going to get like, $20 freaking million at the end of the bullshit. Yeah, I'd be grinning all the way to work every day.
Again, they are the most insecure fucking people that have ever lived.
Yeah, she's missing her astrogation home. That would be so funny if somebody were to make a meme and just put Whoopi Goldberg in that set.
Oh, dude, you killed me. Like, that just fucking killed me. Just in my head, I can just see her walking around. It's just like, oh, shut up, Whoopi. Just shut the fuck up. Here's your astrolabe. Go fucking sit in the corner and look at the stars.
You're right. Go wait for the Grand Conjunction or something.
She is one of the most fucking all of them. Actually, the entirety of the panel of The View are the most obnoxious human beings I've ever seen on television.
Pretty much everyone in the world agrees with that statement, and yet they're still on.
I think it's hate watching.
No, it's white women.
Yeah, it's suburban white women watch that shit.
They think that shit's empowered. you know?
Like I doubt a single black chick is hanging out watching. I mean, maybe one or two, but not enough to matter, you know. They're all watching cops trying to see if they're going to find their boyfriend or their baby daddy.
Oh, wow.
That was racist, but you know. But it was meant in good-natured fun, guys. It's going good, Coco Beware. That's right. I called
Remember
you by your
Coco,
full
5
name.
today. Be 15 minutes early.
I called him by his full name. He don't know what to do now. He's like, I've been found out. Coco
Well,
Beware.
Coco did something this weekend that actually absolutely blew me away because I'd never known there was a term to describe what I was in my creativity, which is restless creative. And I'm like, wow, thank you. So I've been reading about it. I'm like, yeah, no, that's me. I'm 100% a restless creative. And I actually think that, like, thank you, Coco. Thank you so much. We're exhausting for other people, though, because other people want to just, oh, that's a great idea. Let's go with that. And we're already on to the next thing. You know what I mean? We've already moved the fuck on. We're already like, oh, yeah, that was neat. I'm going over here now, Keep up. Come on. It's an adventure. Come for the ride. But sadly, most people don't have that. They want stability and things they can rely on. Hence why Doc has a game for them.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, so one of the things, if I'm creating something and sharing it with you and you're engaging with me on it, beyond, oh, yeah, that's really nice. But like you're actually like asking questions or you're showing interest in it and you're not being like the Spurg twins, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. It'll keep the restless creative focused on the project, right? It'll keep them focused because they're now engaging on it and their mind is functioning and going that way. But when people don't say anything, well, our minds start to wander creatively, and then we wind up finding a new thing to get obsessed about and focus on and be super creative about,
That's me, but without the creativity.
It's just ADHD then.
Yeah, it's like every time I paint a miniature, I get to where I want to play whatever game that miniature would go best in.
Yeah.
So if I sit down and start painting Sardaukar, obviously, I start thinking, I want to run a Doom game. But if I start painting mutants, then I'm like, oh man,
I want to run Game World. Yeah, exactly. But that's
kind of my brain.
That's normal, though. That's a normal thing. What you immerse yourself in will focus your attention, right?
Yeah. Okay, good.
That's normal.
You're like the first person to call me normal. I like it.
Well, I would never call you normal, but that behavior pattern is normal. Is what
okay. Yeah.
But no, the DC-20 guy, I don't understand how that guy's still making money because he's like constantly changing the game fundamentally in real time with all of his backers. And they're all, yep, here's another $600 in super chats on your video talking about it. It's like, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah, that MCDM thing is even worse with that. He's completely scrapped that like a dozen times and started over.
I kind of know what the MCDM thing is. I have no idea what the DC-20 thing is.
Dungeon Coach, he basically, in the OGL crisis, the only person who capitalized upon which was Kelsey Dion. He was one of the people that announced the game, right? So you had Kelsey Dion's Shadow Dark, you had Dungeon Coach's DC-20, MCDM's, what at the time was going to be a 5th edition clone, and now is Draw Steel, and it's its own thing. And Black Flag, which I still maintain was the greatest name possible, to then be released as Tales of the Valiant, which was the most stupid marketing choice you could ever make. Like, how do you go from calling your game Black Flag to Tales of the Valiant? I don't want to play the Prince Valiant role-playing game. Fuck off! Like
that comes with a coupon for a free bull haircut.
Yeah, exactly. How anyone in the money department at Cobalt Press didn't go, nope, this is a bad idea, is beyond me. So he basically announced this thing, and he gave the skeleton of his system, and everyone got really, really excited about it. And now he's been developing it live on his YouTube channel, and he's completely redeveloping it and changing everything rather than tweaking, which is what I do, which is, okay, here's the basis, and now we're going to tweak until we get it to where we want. He's changing the fundamental system at times. And
yeah, that's not That's not good.
And people are still throwing, like Daryl will tell you, people are still throwing super chats at him. He had one show apparently where he made $800 in super chats in the first hour or some shit. Like Jesus Christ. If I get $5 in super chats, I call that a great day.
It's definitely something weird because it's like, I don't know, like.
Well, it's like the Protestant Reformation, okay? Everyone was so fucking tired of Catholicism in Europe at the time that when the Protestant Reformation came along, everybody who was tired was jumping on one thing or another. But as they were committing to things, those things became their identity, right? So everybody committed to Shadow Dark is into Shadow Dark. Everybody committed to DC-20 is into DC-20. Everybody committed to Tales of the Valiant are insane. And everybody who's backing MCDM is delusional.
Yeah. I could never see back at anything he does because he's just not a nice person.
And look at that, what's that video game that's been in development for like 15, 20 years now that everybody...
Oh, that MMO?
Yeah, it's a space game. I can't remember the damn name, but the guy who
talking
did
about like Star Citizen?
Star Citizen, that's the one. And the guy's like hundreds of millions of dollars. He's like,
Hey,
I probably broke $500 million at this point. And this fucking thing still isn't out.
You can get a special ship if you're willing to donate $1,000.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding you. That is a reward. If you donate $1,000, you get a special starship.
For a game that will never be released.
It's like, apparently there's a beta and some people have played it, but...
Yeah, from what I understand, you can play different like parts of it.
Yeah. But I don't know. The guy may have just really picked out way more than he could chew.
And from what I hear, he keeps adding shit and as they're going along. He's like, put this in, put this in.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, man. I don't know anything about it. It's like things happen and I'm just like, huh.
Meanwhile, I'm like, do I keep going with 5th edition as the core for Valorous, or do I use my BX revised rules and make those work for Valorous? And that's as far a change I'm willing to make is like, what flavor of D&D will I be doing in this? As opposed to these guys who are like rewriting core systems on the fly and still people are throwing money at them. But how do I get people to throw money at me at this point? What do I have to fucking do? Like, seriously, do I need to get a chick to pretend to be me? Is that what I do now? Just find some chick with big old titties, and get her up in a corset?
I mean, I will admit that would work.
That worked for that comedian, the Titanium McGrath. Have you ever seen those?
No.
It's a guy who writes everything, and he hired a woman to do the act.
Oh man, as good as AI is, you could probably just make a hot AI chick.
I've got the money for that, man. Do you know how much it fucking costs to generate like 8 seconds of fucking high quality AI video now?
No.
Well, it's expensive. Vivo 3, which is the best one to use for that, is fucking insanely expensive.
I watched they're always on YouTube showing me like this hot blonde chick talking about AI.
Yeah.
And why she uses the AI she uses. But the secret is she's AI.
Yeah.
And she's always got like her flannel shirt unbuttoned down to here. And you can see she's not wearing a bra. And
those videos cost thousands of dollars to generate. Right? They cost thousands of dollars to generate, but because they had the upfront capital to do it, they're able to generate thousands and thousands of dollars in views and ads, right?
Right.
So it's always going to be the bane of creativity, which is if you have money, you can be successful. If you don't have money, well, good luck.
Harder.
You better fucking catch a lightning in a bottle, otherwise you're fucked.
Right.
Because no matter how good your product is, no matter how solid your product is,
no one's going to see it, chances are.
No one's going to give a fuck unless you have some lightning bolt that can bring their attention to you, or you can throw a shit ton of money into promoting it or attracting people through things like, hiring a hot chick to sit around and talk about your game. And to be honest, on the internet, they don't have to be hot. You just get a mid chick with big tits, and you're good to go.
Find
anyone,
a kind of hot redhead to like rub herself all over your book.
Did anyone see that weird Al Pacino movie, Simone?
I heard about it, never saw it.
It was kind of interesting. This guy, he's a film director, and some guy comes to him with this project
with
for a
Natasha
virtual
Henstridge.
actress.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Natasha Henstridge. I did see that movie.
And he does it for a while, then he decides to stop doing it. He gets accused of murdering this woman who never exists.
It was an awful movie.
It had some interesting ideas. It was very badly put together.
You probably saw it on like DVD. I saw it in the theater with a friend who took me because he would get passes to everything because he was in a movie rating company. So they'd always give him a pass to go see movies and rate them. And as a result, he'd be like, "Who wants to go see this with me?" And we'd all pick films based on the release calendar. I had football films. If there was a football film, it was automatically mine because for some reason I love football films. But no one wanted to go see someone. He's like, "No one's going. You want to come?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go see it. It's Pacino. Fuck, why not?" Oh,
Well,
boy,
I mean, okay, MCDM. That guy was on the internet 15 years ago, and he started out as your typical jerk off, giving you advice on how to run D&D 4th edition.
Yeah.
And somehow, I think it's his luscious locks because that dude does got a really nice set of hair.
He made a video.
Managed to maintain popularity.
He made a video about Lord of the Rings as a D&D campaign and explaining how like the players were playing The Hobbit and they were having fun and they were making up ideas. And then the new campaign was the Lord of the Rings. And it's a very good video, to be honest. It's not a bad video, but it exploded. It became viral. And that's what launched him into the stratosphere he's in. Oh,
yeah.
Thunder.
I mean, that's basically it. That guy has been around forever. And
Daryl, you can want people to hear real people as much as you like, and that's fine, sir. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to make money and you're trying to get eyes on product, you need to use every fucking trick you can to get eyes on product these days. Integrity is not a seller point in the modern world.
No. I will say this too. Like when I'm playing Dune, I never skip ahead of the narration, Daryl.
Like I get what Daryl's saying, and I get what Daryl's saying, and fundamentally I agree with him. But I also understand the reality of the situation, which is, you might as well just be screaming into a canyon at that point in time, because
I mean, you haven't lived life until you've spent 30 minutes running all over the place, murdering people, trying not to die, all so that you can find somebody to buy drugs from and take back and bribe a third person with the drugs. I mean, at that point, you want to know what's going on, right? So I when they're talking to me, I don't fast forward that shit. And then the person you're getting the drugs for is teaching you how to be a trooper.
I found it interesting that when you started this statement, I was like, this is a very interesting observation on Florida. And then I was like, oh, no, we're still talking about Dune. Never mind.
You spend half of your time in Dune just killing people and getting drugs for people. Not to mention the fact that the whole game is based on drugs anyway. Because that's what the spice is. It's the most addictive drug in the universe. So yeah, you spend the whole game. Like my character's been in the game so long, I have the blue on blue eyes now. Not that you can see them because I'm wearing the all black garbage bag Harkonnen uniform. Because I made it to the top of the Harkonnen tree.
You say that like it's a big deal.
As a matter of fact, I met Glasso Raban, the Beast, and he had me sign my contract, making me officially part of the House Harkonnen, and he hit it with his ring. So I'm official.
Harkonnen bastard.
Well, I mean, in the alternate history, the Harkonnens are bastards, but I mean, the Atreides aren't much better. So,
yeah.
And then the guy who wanted me to join his guild, who is my brother, he went Atreides long after I'd already been Harkonnen. He's like, would you consider betraying? And I'm like, no. So he betrayed. So now I can join his guild because we're all Harkonnens.
Ooh.
And yes, Florida is similar to that.
Heat-wise.
But I basically had to find a suit doctor to get stems for a lady so she would train me some, gunplay skills. She needs to straighten up or she's going to die. Them stems will kill her. But not my business. And because no one knows anything about me, I can basically go anywhere and do anything. So Peter DeVries sends me out to kill people a lot, which I find very enjoyable. I know Bear's like, God damn Doom. But I find it.
I love things until people get obsessive about them, and then I find myself. And this is definitely a personality default I have. I just go ugh, and I stop liking them all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like
Then
it's
I'll
just,
be quiet because I don't.
No, it's not
But-
you, James. James, shut the fuck up. It's your channel. Talk about what you want to talk about. Man.
Well, I don't want you to dislike Dune. I'm just telling you all the shit I've been getting into.
No, and I'm sure you're having a fun time. Also, I hate that I can't play it on my Mac. So there's also that I can't partake in it and enjoy it.
Right.
Also, I fucking hate MMOs now.
I used to, and I remember telling you not that long ago that I could not foresee myself playing another MMO in my life.
And here we
Because
are.
every MMO I'd ever played has been such a disappointment.
Yeah.
This one is not a disappointment. As a
I liked
commercial
the
says,
Star Trek
next go.
Online because of the Foundry, but once they killed that, I was done with it forever.
I
used to
to
be
play it on
big,
Mac, and now you
like-
can't. Ever since they fucking ported it out to the consoles, they killed Mac support for it.
For which?
Yep.
Star Trek Online.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't even know you could
Yeah,
play that.
there was
on
Mac
console.
support for a while, and that's how I started playing it. Was back in the day on my Mac, and I was like, "Oh, I like this game." And I got a PC, and I kept playing. And it was great. And then it came out for Xbox. I'm like, I don't like playing it on Xbox. It's not fun. And then I went to go back to get into it on my Mac, and I'm like, "What do you mean it's not available on Mac? What the fuck? When did that happen?" Oh, once they brought it out on consoles, they stopped Mac support.
Yeah, my favorite part about Star Trek Online was unleashing just a shit ton of fighters from my Jem'Hadar carrier and like killing enemy ships with just fighters and bombers while I hung back.
I mean, I kind of liked Elite Dangerous, which isn't exactly an MMO. It kind of is an MMO, but I haven't played it in like 2 years now, just because I have a potato computer now.
Right. Well, I played Dune on a laptop. It's just a Acer whatever laptop.
Yeah, I need to go off of like $200-300 to get a proper graphics card before I can play anything vaguely new. But I'm also kind of liking that I'm not doing video games much anymore. I'm actually getting some stuff done.
I'm the same way. I was for about a month. Recently, I started playing Civilization. I was bouncing between 4 and 6 and 5 for a while. I was playing both. Now I'm like, I don't want to, because I would lose 8 hours of my day. You know, just like, I wanted to get a bunch of writing done today, but instead I was fucking conquering Rome. You know.
Well, that was your mistake. You should have been Rome.
No, I was playing as either Canada or the U.S.
You're not wrong. When I was full on addicted to EQ, I guess I played that game. Like I would come home from work. I worked construction, take a shower, eat something, ramen or whatever, because that was that part of my life, and then play EQ until like midnight. So I mean, at least 8 hours or something, However long it was, I was playing a shit ton of it, then go to sleep, snatch 6 hours of sleep, get up, get dressed, go to work, freaking pour concrete all day, and then come home and do it again. I was so addicted to the first EverQuest. It was just crazy how addicted I was.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I played Arcade, and it pissed me off so bad that after Arcade, which has been at least 10 or 15 years, I never played another MMO or online game ever again. I even kind of stopped playing video games for the longest time, even.
Well,
'Cause I was
MMOs
just
basically
like,
turn into just chat rooms with activities.
I was just like, screw all that. A lot of MMOs do. The one I'm doing now, yeah, it's a chat room, and your activities are to go out and do quests and gather materials and build shit and not die from dehydration, which is constantly a thing, but whatever, Like my character's a lot more mobile now because I made 3 of these. So I can fill them up with water before I go out on my missions. So when I start getting dehydrated, I can take a sip from my they call this a leader John. It's a unbreakable liter container that you can fill full of water. So yeah. And that's basically it. And then I talk to my brother a lot. Because we go on Discord and
Was that
I'm having
thunder?
a thunderstorm. Yeah, I got to shut down, boys. I'll see you later.
Catch you
well,
later.
you know what? I think we'll shut down now anyway.
Yeah, I gotta
Hour
go.
and a
I gotta
half.
get
I
ready.
still got stuff to do and an OSC game to run. So
Bye now.
bye.
Later, old.
Later, homie. Later, everybody in chat. Thanks for joining us. And peace and love to you. Good gaming. And I hope